Okay, welcome back to round two, everybody. This is going to be the first part on the new class that I've made, the Smart Node class for QuickTileMap, and I'm going to show you where we're at the moment. I will warn you that this video is going to be quite long. Oh, we haven't got anything in there because I'm going to show you something else first. Yeah, it's going to be quite long, this video, because it's going to be quite an in-depth view of how to actually use the nodes and stuff, how to get your data out and that. It's going to be quite in-depth, so bear with me because there's quite a lot to get through. So how we're going to start is we're going to start off with, I've added another little class which is in here, so we're just talking about debugging at the moment. I'm very sorry, you're just going to be seeing a lot of boring text, but once you get through this you'll get on and yeah, start creating and stuff. So I just wanted to show you this little debug node that I put in. Now this only it does work in all of them, but it's only really formatted for here. If somebody wants to resubmit a thing which does all of the formats, you're more than welcome to do it, and I'll upload it to the Git if somebody wants to make it better. But it's just this little debug class here, and I'm just going to show you this because it kind of just shows you what's going on behind the scenes of the molecule engine. So if I start that up, and you can see that it just gives us debug of what's happening. So I'm asking about this class here, and it just shows me that it's the root node that I've named root Axmol, and all it has in the scene at the moment is a camera, hence the reason when I start this up it's a big blank of nothingness. The reason why I'm showing this is because of later on when it comes to seeing what's going on when you need to grab things out and that, you're going to find that things are missing and they're not there. They are in the engine, you just don't know where. So I'm going to show a little demonstration of how you can use this class. So we're going to create a small sprite. Obviously I've got my sprite sheet loaded. You would have seen that from the thingy from the first video, showing you how to create sprite sheets. We're still using the encrypted one, and I'm just saying create sprite with 000. I don't have any .pngs. I'm not set up for that. I showed you how to do that in the first video. If you want to use .png, then you can just take that off of there and use .pngs or rename the extension whatever you want. Okay, so let's put a sprite in there, and we'll just have another little view of this. And now you see we've got one camera and we've got one sprite, and they're all coming from the root node, the Axmol node. And let's create another sprite, only this time we'll add it as a child of the first sprite here. So we'll rerun that, and this is just to give you an in-depth view of what's going on inside the engine, because it'll become very handy later on when you start trying to figure out why is things not in the right order. Aha! Now you see that we have another branch off of there, and that's where our second sprite is. So if you was to try and get this sprite here, you can't just get it because it's not on the root. And this is kind of part of how tile maps work, because it's done with all of this layering. You think, oh, I'm just going to go and get that. They're not all on the root. They branch off in certain places, yeah. So you can see if we wanted to get this sprite, we'd have to get the first sprite and then get the second sprite in order to get to it. Gives you some other feedback as well, whether it's visible and stuff. There's no name on it. The tags are all -1, which is default for Axmol, unless you give it, you know, a tag, yeah, which is how it works out when you're looking for something. So if we were searching now for number 2, we could probably go and get, oh sorry, what am I saying? That's the layer level, sorry. Set Dope set tag 1. We'll run that now. So this is how the engine actually works and what's so powerful about the node system and why you should use them and how it's structured. So now we've got a 1 there. So now if I wanted that sprite, I'd say get child by ID 1 and then get child by ID -1. Not great, but you can see how it's working, and that's great for when you want to pull different classes back. So you know, we couldn't really grab the camera. Well, we could, it's the first thing on the list, I suppose. And you know, we can get camera by, not name, but we could get camera by tag and cast it into a camera and get things back. So that's how we get through our classes and stuff. So I just wanted to show you what's going on there with this little debug. It's quite handy. You might want to fire it up sometime to find out why on earth something isn't in a place where it should be. And it will list out all sorts of things in there that you create, sprites, nodes, all that sort of stuff and where they are. But we're not here for that. We're here for my new TileMap class. So we'll come back to that in a little bit. Okay, let's fire up the TileMap class, QuickTileMap. So we're going to load it like a good old standard way, like you'd load normal tile maps. We're going to create a QuickTileMap. We're going to create the node because it is a node. Remember, you can always get nodes. Like I just said, you could, if you wanted to get the name of that, you could go and search it and cast it back into a QuickTileMap, and then you've got the node there. So you don't always have to pass variables to get to stuff with node systems because they're just pointers. So this is how we load our tile maps. Now, if you load the same tile map, yeah, what it does is it clears down the system and it doesn't reload all of the data. It's just an instant refresh of everything on the screen and puts everything back where it started. So we save on reload time. So let's fire that up now. I'm going to need to show you with the Microsoft one to show you what we've got on the screen at the moment, because I'm not running debug on here. Okay, so that's what we've got on our screen at the moment. Yeah, which is a representation of this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to delete that and delete that, because we're just going to start with the first layer. So here we have one layer. You can add all your properties and all that sort of stuff. But I'm just going to save that, and we're going to go to our Axmol engine here. I'm going to fire it up because I was going to need to show you more debug. Very exciting. Right, so let's delve into the engine itself, and we're actually going to pull up the tile map that we're looking at as well, so we can show you what's going on. Right, okay, so there's one main function here that you need to worry about, which is this build tile map. Now, as I said, it is a node-based pointer system, and you must remember that some nodes will be null. They're null on purpose because that tells you the end of the data. So it's best to check. Yeah, don't just go and pull something out and then you get crash. Then you start messaging on the messaging board. When I do this, I get a crash. It's because your data isn't there, which is why I was showing the little handy debug tool, because sometimes things ain't there. But first of all, so all there is at the moment is there's a route, and on that route we've built the entire tile map. We've got the data, and this builds the entire tree, yeah, for all of the nodes, XML, map, and what have you, and they're all built just on the route. So the last node is the route. So once we've got a route into the system or into the tree, then we can start querying it. So you can see I've done a route and I've made a shortcut to tile set. I've got the route and I've made a shortcut to the map. And it works the same way as using the molecule engine, where you can just say get child by name, get child by name, get child by ID. It is my own node system because it has a few funky things in there as well, a few extra functions and stuff. There's quite a few bits in there, but there's like storage attached to it, which is one of the keys to this system working. So I'm saying get a tile set, I'm making a shortcut, and I'm making a shortcut to map, but you can still get it through route. You're going to go to a point to a route and then go to the map. So let's have a look at that. So the route, I'm saying give me a shortcut to map and give me a shortcut to tile set, because we're going to want these tiles later on. Yeah, all your tiles go in here, and you're going to see that there's animation attached to them, there's frames attached to them, all sorts of good stuff. So now we're going to want to start querying it. As I said, everything's all preloaded now. All of this is already preloaded, so we can start querying stuff like this. So let's get some more debug info, because I know you guys love this. Now, in the smart node, we can do a show a few things here. We're going to ask it to show the tree, and I'm going to ask it to show the, let's get it to show the tree of map, actually. Root, sorry, let's just do root. Yeah, let's get the very, very base of it. Okay, so you can see what's going on. So we're going to run that, see the debug from it, and it should print out the tree root. I'll print out the entire tree here, and you can see we've got our root, and it's got two children on it, which is the XML and the map. Yeah, XML and the map from the root. Then off of there, we've got a tile set, and then in that tile set, we have an image. I think you can see where this is going already, and then from the image, we start our tiles, and it's got one child on it, yeah, which is animation. Yeah, and we also have a layer which is on the map here. So this is where we're at the moment. So you can see we're creating the same sort of thing here as the XML data, which is now ready to query. So if there's anything that you want or anything that you need, yeah, you can just go and look it up. So if we want the width, so let's go and do that. So I want the width from the map. So let's go and do that. Let's go to a auto IDTH, that's not how you spell width, WIDTH. Oh dear, alright, I give in. Right, equals the map. Now, we're going to say, oh, we're not going to do that actually, because we're already there. I've already created a shortcut. I was thinking I need to get to the map, but I've already made a shortcut there. So what we're going to do now is we're going to say get key as int. Yeah, there are various things there, int, string, get key as, you'll see that you can get them as float, string, char, ball and long. Yeah, everything that's in the storage, yeah, or that's on the storage is a string. So all you need to do is the conversion. We're going to get an int because we said we're going to get this tag here, which is the width. Yeah, so I'm going to ask for the width and get it as an int. Yeah, and then we're going to do an AX log, and we're simply going to do %d WIDTH and WID. Yeah, let's run that, and then what that will do is that will pull that out of the tag, but it's not, it's pulling it out of the node, it's already done. So now when we print that out, the width is 30. The width is 30. Now, I can imagine at this point that I probably just lost everyone. They've gone, right, got it, understand, I'm gone, see you later, I know exactly what I'm doing. Well, hold on a moment, because there are a few little quirks in this, especially when dealing with things like text. I have put a lot of baby steps in there for you all, but you've got to watch when looking for stuff. Right, so let's go searching for some stuff. So I've got a tile set there, as you can see. I've already said get child by tile set. That's how we do it. Now I have a true on here because of its recursal. What that means is because of, as you can see, the tile set's here and it ends here, then a layer. Those are all on the same layer there. A tile set, if I get it from the map, it's not on the map layer. Well, it is on, sorry, the tile set is on the map layer. So if we want to get the image is not on the map layer. So if we leave that as false, if I can spell it, or 0, yeah, that means scan down this layer here. Whereas if we wanted like this tile here, it won't be there because of it's, you need to recursal down the thing, recurse down the thing. So that's what I'm doing there. I'm saying recurse to the tile set. So now let's do some querying on the tile set. So let's do a tile set and find out what sort of info's in there, and we can do that with show all storage. Okay, there's a lot of shortcuts here to debug, so you'll find them in there. Anything to do with something, it will begin with show and an uppercase S. So now let's get it to show all the storage for tile set. Yeah, so this is what's on the tile set, so we can query the tile set now. First gid, its name, and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, this is where we've got our tile width and tile height and tile width, tile count, how many columns, all that good funky stuff. Yeah. There's also let's show debug info. Sorry, I think that comes from, sorry, it doesn't come from there. If you just want to debug the whole thing, just put the node in there. But we'll do a smart node, show debug info, and that should show us all of the children that come off of this tile map and what's in there at the moment. Now I know it's a bit long and boring and that, but it's all good stuff to know because it's going to help you to program the thing quicker. So here we are. So here's our tile set. It gives us our storage info. So whichever one of these tags we need, we can just grab it like I just showed you there to grab the width out. The name, but then it also shows us the next node along that has no children, which is our image, yeah, and then again that's in the storage there. Now you can't just go and grab it like that because you've got the tile set node, you haven't got the image node. Now it is the next one along, so we could actually say, because it's a node system, yeah, we could say, oh, not get parent, get next. Let's get the next child along, and then that should give us the information and the storage for the image. Yeah, so you can just do get next if you want. But then it shows us that it has a child in there. The child has animation, it has frames, yeah, in its storage. So there's its tile, it has its animation and its 2 frames. Yeah. So that's how we're going to get to our data. And as you can see, there's plenty of debugging there, so if you need to find something, because you will come across things like, let's go and get this first tile layer because we want this data. So we want to make sure that we get the right thing. Now, so we're going to go to the map and we're going to get first, I can't spell it, get the first layer. Oh, it doesn't matter that it's spelled with, we'll just put a layer there. And we don't want to get it as an int, we want to get child by name. Now, because it's a node-based system, you need to be a bit careful because of if it didn't get that, if it doesn't get that, that doesn't exist. So in order to stop crashes and what have you, you always want to check to make sure that it's not null before we go and start doing stuff with it, really. Yeah, so get the smart node. Did you get it or not? Okay, so we'll give that a run and see if that finds it. It's on the root of map. Yeah, here's the map, and that layer is on the root of map. So there we are, we've got the layer and as you can see we've got all of its storage, and then it also tells us that we've got data attached to it. So we want this data, yeah, is what we're looking for, and it's in value. So we know that it's zlib compression base 64, which is what it is, and it's this funky string here. Yeah, so when you get to the layer, don't think that you can just get the data because it isn't in there. You're going to need to get the next node, which is, you're going to need to get the next node, which you can either do next, or you can get child by name data, and then we can say if the layer exists, we can then query if that value exists. So just like where we query the node, we can also query the storage as well. So if we say the layer key exists value, yeah, so we're saying if this key exists in the storage, so it could be compression, we could do compression, let's do that. Then AX log send S oops, layer get key, I'll get it as a char. So we can query what the compression is. So you see what's going on here. So don't just go and get the layer, because the layer doesn't contain your data, it's the next one down. I'm sorry this is getting on a bit long-winded, but we'll move on to the good stuff in a minute. Right, so there we are, it tells us that it's zlib, which it is. Yeah, and that's where our value is as well, because this is how you're going to get your physics out. Now anything that is data that you need, like physics and stuff, it's going to be in the variable value. Yeah, so we'll run that again, and we should get this whole string there. And there it is, there's our string. So that's going to be our data that's in value. So anything you need should be in value. All right. So that's how we do some debugging and that. So this is obviously colour. Now you're going to notice here, if we look at this, there isn't any colour in here. So it's always best to query things before you just say, oh, I'm going to go and set the colour, because this causes a bit of a headache. So yeah, if I run that now, background colour is going to say no, because it doesn't exist in there. And you're probably thinking, well, why doesn't it exist in there? Because you haven't, you know, added it yet. So if I go to the map properties here, and so we're going to set the colour, didn't we? So we do the background colour, nice funky red, and we'll go back there. Now that should be saying no, and now when I run again, if I saved it, it should say yes. And just to show you that the colour's working, I'll fire it up, and we should have a nice funky red there. Something round about that colour, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. So that's one or two ways of querying things, but as I said, be careful because it is a node pointer system. So always check first. So, you know, you always like, before you get the map and do anything with it, you probably want to do if map, yeah, because it's the node. Right, so how does the rest of the system work? Well, that's basically it. That's all we're doing. So this is your main loop, build tile map, and simply all we're asking for is we're asking for all object groups and all layers from here. So there's only a layer here, but we'll add an object group. So we'll add an object group, and an image, and we'll do another tile on top. So that's all of them all stacked. Close that, don't save, open it again. And now you see that we've got image layers and all that sort of stuff. And that's all we're doing. So we're just asking for that. I probably should put in as well that. So this is how we can get groups of stuff. Okay, and they all come from our shortcut map, so we don't got to go down the root XML. So you can keep shortening it. So we want all object groups, objects, layers. Yeah, and that's where all our fun stuff starts. So run that. That will return a vector, and then all we're doing is just doing the same is in QuickTileMap. Is we're just going to run around and we're going to say, is it a layer? Yeah, does the node in there equal a layer? Then we're going to do our layer. So this is our layer for tiles. It's already decrypted in that. We're going to check for animation. So because we made a shortcut to our tile set, we're going to get child by ID, because in the tile set, so we've got 98 there is the tile. God knows when it starts that high. I've obviously taken tiles in and out and that testing, and we've got to 98, so the next one's 99. Right, so yeah, so to get anything from the tile set now we need to know, does this tile have any animation? And I've made a thing here where we're going to query that. So we're going to say get tile from the tile set, ID 98 when it turns up here. We're going to check, must do a check, otherwise you're going to get a crash because of we may not have pulled back this ID, you see, because this is going to be null pointer otherwise, yeah, and crash. We don't want that. So if we've got a tile, we're next going to say, does it have an animation? Yeah. Get child by name, animation. Now I know I'm spoon feeding you here, but I just want you to make sure you know what you're doing. Okay, so then we check the animation. It does have an animation. We create an animation and we pass it its animation. So that's how easy it is to get the animation out of there. Basically all you're getting these two tiles here, and then the animation says, oh, go and get that sprite and go and get sprite 98. So 97 and 98. Yeah. Do remember when working with a tile set, tiles start at 0, they don't start at 1. So if you ask for an ID, normally it's -1. Okay, you need to go down one. I was going to say, I didn't ask, that's a bit weird, but I'll put that in when I do that. So we create the animation, which was my football, I think, which was glowing backwards and forwards, was it there? So this is how we get to our tile sets. Yeah, so this is this one animation here, which is this one animation here, which, as you can see on the football there, is 98. And then if we go into our tile set and we look at the animation, that's them there. Yeah. Now don't forget you can have properties on that as well. We'll get into that in a minute, because there's always properties on top of properties on top of properties, which you're going to want to get to and do lots of funky stuff. So check the animation. We've got an animation, then pass it the animation. Else, if it's not, then it's just a normal tile. Yeah. Now you can get false positives as well, because just because a tile's in there, so we've got to do all this checking. Just because a tile's in there doesn't mean it has an animation. So there's little quirks like that. So got a tile, yes, it exists. Does it have animation? Yeah. Else, just create a sprite name. Now we also have to check, was there a tile? No, then it's a regular thing. And then we just carry on with the rest of just laying out the tile, and then we go through its bits, and then that's the end of the loop for the tile set. Yeah, that's our tile set done. Now, for the second part of the loop, because of we're running one massive loop of this tile nodes, now we asked it, is it an object group? What are the objects on there? We're basically going through the same thing, except for, as you see, use my shortcut to pull out a few things, which is get the height, width, tile width and stuff like that we need. And then basically we're doing the same thing as what we've done with the tile set there. We're going to set its colour and all that sort of stuff. We're going to get its set of objects. Now I'm going to come to the objects, because we're dealing with these layers here, because we might have something that has an object on it, like this football. I don't see anything on there. Let's just go with number 1, and we'll put a point, we'll put a rect, because this is what's good as well. You don't gotta go and put all this stuff into physics. You can just create all these physics on the fly now in QuickTileMap. So this is what sprite is this? His first circle here. So this first circle here, if I put one in, if I can, you'll notice that it's got all these physics sprites on it now, and you're going to need to build them. Now I haven't done this bit for you. You're going to have to do that, but I'm going to show you how to query and get all these little bits out and build from that tile there. Yeah, so you can build more than one part, which is going to be done the same way. Let's save that. There won't be any physics showing up or anything on there, because you're going to need to query that yourself. But that's what this does here. So on my screen, sorry you can't see it at the moment, there's just a sprite on there, but it isn't doing any physics because I haven't put that in, because I don't know how you're running your physics system. Yeah, I don't know how you're doing your physics, because your physics is going to be completely different from mine. So same thing, we're going to query it, we've got down, and then we can say, right, get all of the objects into a smart node, yeah, and then the same thing. If it's an animation, because some of these, the football is on tile layer, let's create another football on there, because that's the only one I've got that's big enough with an animation. Can't be bothered to do the animation again to show you. And then hopefully when I run that, you're going to see we've got one big football, and there it is. Yeah. One big ball. Right. So let's go through some of this. So we've now got the node, and we need to start querying that. Now, anything that's a GID, this is all hidden stuff. We're meant to be getting that from, where is it here? These objects, I need to reload it. Sorry, bear with. I'm getting there. Right. So, where are we? Down here somewhere. Let's just do a quick find for GID. Right, there it is. Right, so you see that it's got a GID 1 and a GID 99 for the second one. And that's what we're doing here. We're just checking, does it have a GID? Does the key exist? So that's why we're using that key exist from this smart node, because we're now looping through objects. And then we're just going to say sprite get animation, and we're going to pass it that node. If there's any animation, it will shove it onto the sprite and do the animation for you. And then we're just going to query its height, width, rotation, and that as normal. Now, yeah, which is in there. So we've got height, width, no rotation. See, there's no rotation showing in there at the moment. It's just the way they do TileMap. But now, if I go in there and rotate and save, we'll go down to that nice bit again. Sorry, I know, but now you can see that it turns up in there. So yeah, it's a little clunky. It's like, why don't they just leave it all in there? But they're trying to save on data. So where was I? So yeah, so now we've created our sprite, which will get its animation automatically if it exists. Now remember, there's two sorts of animation. There's animation, well, there's one in here. You have to go in here to create your animation. But you obviously put the ball on here, but you've only got a GID, and a GID doesn't contain animation, because your animation is actually, as you can see, it doesn't have any animation here. That actually comes from the tile set. So you've got to go back into the tile set, which is what's great about this system. You can go and get the tile and query, is there a GID 99 in there? Or 98. Remember I said it's one lower, it starts at 0. Tile set IDs start at 0, so there's a 98, and that's where we get our animation from, because you can only put you can't put animation on it here. It has to be done in your tile set here. So we have to hop back into the tile set and say, is there a tile 99? I know it says 99 here, but as I said, tile sets start at 0 up to whatever, to 1024 or what have you. So you always got to go one lower. That's where our animation sits. Our animation doesn't sit on the object. Yeah? So when you go and say, oh, I want that, you're going to need to jump into the tile set, query, is there a one less? If there is, then you're going to want your animation. Yeah, so that's how it works. So, yeah, all a little crazy, and it's also for our physics as well. If you noticed as well, as I said, with this, where is it, which one, this circle here, you'll notice that all my physics are on there, but your physics don't come from that object. Yeah, they don't come from that, they come from the tile set. So you're going to need to search, yeah, for the physics back in the tile set. Does that tile exist? And then you're going to build that object, and you're going to build that object, and you're going to build that object. Yeah, you got it? And again, you're going to need to do another search. I know it's a nuisance because of this is a rectangle. It doesn't say rectangle, but it is. If you notice, the others are saying point afterwards, and you point afterwards, and it's one space along, which means once you get your object, you need to search, is it a point as well? Is it a polygon? Yeah, a bit different, but you can still, is it a point, is it a polygon? Then you want to get that polygon, and then this is where your data is, which will be in that storage which I showed you earlier on. You're literally going to ask for the points. So yeah, that's how it works, but it's doable. You know, you can go and query and get it. So at the moment, as I said, I'm just doing this because you need to add your own physics in what you're doing, and I don't know how you're going to run your physics system. But now let's have a little look at properties. Now I know this is spoon feeding, but here's the demo that I put up for getting all of the properties, because you may have properties inside of properties inside of properties inside of properties, and it's going to drive you mad. But you know, you can run your own loop. So that's what I've done here. So I've run a loop version. I've run a small thing here. I'll put a small function here. You're going to go and create your own little function to go and make it all funky. But basically I've said get all properties. We've now got another vector of smart nodes. We're going to run a loop. Now most of them, when you put a property in, they're going to be a name, a value, or a prototype, or a type. So in that type is going to be like a float or something like that. So let's go to one that isn't in there. Let's in fact let's just do a rectangle on there, and we'll just add a ball. Yeah, and we'll add another property, second ball. Now these are all on one level. You may actually want to use the custom editor type, where it then becomes an enum or whatever you want to do, which will have more in there. And then we're going to add this enum here, test. And you're going to see you've got like an enum of things on there, but this is a test on another thing, on another thing, on another thing. So that's where it's going to drive you nuts, but I don't know how you guys are going to do that. But I'm just showing you how to get to your properties and get the values out. So, and we can do that by getting the properties as a vector, and then you scan down each vector. So let's do a show, a smart node, show all storage for the properties. No, actually we'll show the tree for it. There's going to be a few popping up. Oh, sorry, can't do that. I've got to do the thing because it's in a vector, isn't it? So we want the key because we're going through each one. So this is how you get your properties out of things. And then hopefully, when you look at the debug, oh, we found a rectangle. Great. Oh, because I put it on, I know what it is. Because this one is to do with if it has a GID, if it's an image. So we're saying if it's an image here, I put it on just the physics only. So we've got a rectangle, which is right. That's what we were asking for debug. So this is the things without images on. This is just physics itself. So you can see it's already spat out. We've got a rectangle. Yeah, we searched for rectangle, which as you can see isn't in there, but it's been added. So now we should get some, no, it's got no children and it's just a rectangle. So we're already there. Let's get parent. It's probably going to show me the whole object thing, but that's all right. That's fine, we can do that, we can go backwards and forwards. Okay, so now you can see all of our properties in there. We've got 3 properties along there. Yeah. For that one rectangle that doesn't have any images or anything. And we found the rectangle. As you can see, that's what it found at the end, which doesn't exist, which I've added to make things easier. And I think that's about it really. I think you can now know or figure out how you're going to get certain stuff. Now you probably ain't going to do that. You're probably going to, you know, strip all this out and put your own loop in there, because I have also into the storage I've made a shortcut. So if yeah, let's where is it? Yeah, these 2 here. Instead of showing that, let's have it show the 2 things, because there's 2 things going on here. Remember, one is the smart node and the other one is your object, and they're 2 entirely different things with the parts up here. So hopefully it's going to spit out on the first thing there. There we are. So we have a data. So now I've actually put it into, so now you can use the key, because I've done a little pre thing up there. See, it says shape and shape ID. Yeah, if it's you know, a shape or what have you, it's a rectangle, so you won't need to do all of this. You'll be able to do, you know, get keyers in, and if I do the shape ID, you'll be able to just run that directly in a switch case. Yeah, you'll be able to run that in a switch case because it's 0. I'll take that out and I'll show you the reason why, and you can match it against the QuickTileMaps up here. So ID rectangle 0, 0, 0.1, yeah, so you'll be able to query the key, and it'll be a lot easier and quicker and faster because I've I'll pre-put this stuff in there. Yeah, so you can just query the shape 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever it is, or the name, which is a rectangle, or if it's a sphere, or whatever it is that we're doing. And that's about it really. I think after that you should be able to know how to get around, how to navigate the system. So where are we? So from here, see, that's the end of the getting the objects and text and stuff. This one's text. If the object equals text, but you'll be able to do a match up here for text, like I just said you'll be able to do, yeah, which is 5. So if it's 5, you know you're going to do a text. You're going to rewrite these functions, guys. You're going to sort of basically take this junk out of here and leave this loop clean. I'm just showing you how a tile map is built previously. We're doing it the same, but the thing is we're doing it a little bit differently, that we can actually query things rather than it just running around and we have to do it on the fly. You can build it however you want now. Because you can get to everything, you can go backwards and forwards up the tree, whatever you want to do, guys. Yeah. And as I said, you know, you can query things. Has it got properties? Yeah. Get them all. And in them properties is all the 2 strings and whatever it is that we done there on the rectangle there. Yeah. And you can get all this stuff out and true and that. And then just basically use the debug to show, oh, I haven't got it, what's happening, or have you? Yeah. And I think that's about it, really. You should be able to go off now and create whatever you want. What's also good about this, I'll show you one of the things that's a bit of a nuisance, because otherwise you'd have to, in the old ones or in the normal like fast maps and stuff, let's say you get into an incident like you want to use this function. Let's put 2 functions in. So let's have this one. Let's say we're going to make like a teleporter or something. That once you touch this block, it connects to there. So we'll, oh dear, just as an example, we'll add a property and we'll add it as an object. And we'll call it teleporter. Not quite correct. Okay, and now we say, right, I want this object to connect to this object. Right, job done. Tells you that it's teleporter 11. Yeah. So this is number 11, and this is number 9. Is anybody seeing a problem yet? See, with the older system, because of this one came first, this one doesn't exist. Not yet, not until after this is created. So how is this going to find this? And this is one of the problems that we have. So we would have to go to the end, and then we'd have to go and pick out that bit. And once we've built everything, because of this hasn't come in yet, so we can't get it yet. Yeah, so these are other reason why I've built it like this. But that's fine, because now we know that we're looking for an unnamed object named 11. We can be extremely lazy and we'll do that now. That actually exists, doesn't it? This one actually exists after this. So let's go and put a property in there with a string, world, and in that string we'll just put a lot of hello bank. Now, because I know that ID, you ain't going to do that, by the way, because the IDs change. We're going to go by this ID here. You're going to find the property of that, and then you're going to tell it to find that. But because we know ID 11 works, is in there, we go right back up to the build map here, and what we can do is we can say map get child by ID. I'm going to say 11. Now, because of it's lost somewhere in there, we're going to make it do a search, which is true. Auto, I don't know, bit. Yeah. Okay, AX log. Oh no, let's do show tree for it. Smart node show. Let's show the debug info now the bit, because we know it exists. So this is something that eradicates, because you can just do it on the fly now and just say, oh, that was meant to connect to there, because it doesn't always have to just connect to there. You might have a few of them, which I've had in the past. In fact, that's how I create certain blocks. I do it the other way around, so we can create a control block. Control. So you might have, oh no, I was meant to just create another object, so that might go to there and there. Oh yeah, we need more of them anyway. And then this one might also point to there. So you're going to get these two things from the properties, but you don't no longer have to go to the end until the map's loaded to make sure that these things are loaded in. Because again, this one and this one and this one came after this, so this can't go and find them before it does, but it will now because we've put it in. So let's just go and get bit 11 and see what it prints out here. Apart from all that rubbish I've put in down here and said show all of this. Did I take out 11? No, 13 and 11. No, it should be there. ID 11 should be there. I just had a bit of a crash out. Where did I search? Where did I search? Let's go back up here to the top where I put it. Okay, I had a bit of a crash, but I didn't put any checking on it. If bit. Now that should have found it. I don't know why it didn't. Let's go to root and we'll just try the root. Otherwise I'll have to look at that. Because I've put them all in as the tags and oh, there we are. It found it. Okay, grabbed it from the root. So there we are. So it's got storage. Yeah, storage data for ID 11, that's our ID 11, alright, and there it is. And if we go on one, get next, because I know what you're already expecting. Oh no, let's just do get properties. Because you're probably expecting it to say hello back and all that, but it won't because it's a property. Okay, but yeah, so as you can see, we're turning it up. So all I wanted from there basically was the information of where it is, because I'm saying that connects to there, and I only want to know where its position is. So it eradicates things like that, where you don't got to wait until these things are all loaded before you can get them, because they're already loaded, they're already in there. So you'll be able to query these things by just going straight to it once you've got the properties out of the other box. You've got to get the properties from here, and then tell it to go and get your bit from there and go and find the bit. And that's about it really. I don't think there's anything else to really say. The rest of it, as I said, is just the main loop. But as I said, you're going to rip not that part out, you're going to leave that, it's just going to draw the timelines, but you're going to rip out a lot of this stuff. This is just me showing you how to get to the properties in a loop, and then this is me saying how to get to it manually. Yeah, so if I kept that bit out there, I could have pumped bit in there and it would have got the properties. So yeah, so we've got properties, then it's the property, then all your parts, and that's how you get the properties out of each bit. And it's always handy, as I say, to use the debug to figure out a little bit easier on where you're getting bits from, because remember this one has properties, this one has properties. And then if we have a look at the map has also got properties. Yeah, you've got properties for the map, and then you've got properties for the layer. Yeah, properties for that. You've got properties for your image, and then once you get into these parts here, then you've got properties on these bits as well if you want them. The only thing that doesn't have properties is animation. But you should now know how to get to all your animation, all the different parts. I've got another little demo here and that says basically how to get your physics out and stuff, yeah. Checking for a sprite of physics, because remember the physics, yeah, just because it's physics here, once you get this object, your physics don't come from here, yeah. Oh no, these ones do, it's only certain bits. If you're putting in a GID, yeah, this is if you put in a GID, you see this GID here has, no, where is it? It's this one here, no, don't come here. It's this one here has physics on it, and these physics don't come from here, these physics come from the tile set. So you're going to have to get your properties, then you're going to have to search a tile set, which is easy, you can see it there, it's nice and easy now. But these are the steps here to check it. So check if the GID -1, because it starts, check if it has a tile. Not done yet, because it has a tile doesn't mean it has physics or animation, yeah. Do your check, and that's about all there is. And then if you found out that it's got physics parts, get a vector of objects, yeah. So you're going to get a vector of these objects, and then you're going to start building your physics. So that means you can now start building complex parts, not just a box or a thingy. You can go into the editor here and you can build many different parts now in your loop, yeah. So it's a real easy system to get around. It's taken me about 3 weeks to program the nodes, and I think you should now know how to get around the entire system now. It's just all the properties on properties is the annoying thing, but we won't have any crashes because we're not reading it like old style and what have you. We're doing it new style now, where it just drags out every bit and you just query it. And that's it. Yeah, all I can say is good luck. I hope you enjoy the class. I hope it, you know, gets used out there, and have fun. So if there's any sort of queries in that, I am on the Molecule GitHub, so you can always ask questions there if you need anything, or if you need any more handy functions, or if you've got any ideas, I can put them into the system for you to use, or other people use. Yeah, so that's about it really. Yeah, have fun querying stuff. Use the debugs and that. I'll because we've now got stuff in there. Sorry, just before I go, I will show you one more quick thing, because of this can be a bit of a problem for people. Now we've got stuff in there. Let's have a look what's happening on the root node now, because some people get confused with this. Now, now I've fired up and there's a load of stuff in there. This is what's in our molecule engine now, and can you see that we now have a layer 2, an object layer, yeah, and they're all coming off these different nodes. So if you wanted to, say you're having a player that runs along some sort of node, because of I've done it before where I've been in the main here, where is is it, in the main here, and I've gone, right, I want to put my thing that's on, you know, layer level 3, and I'll add my sprite there, but guess what? It's stuck behind all of this because of it's done the sprite here, and no matter what you do, it's going to be jammed behind this. So then you put it in front, and then it's like, well, now it's on front, that's great, but I want it sandwiched in between here. So a way to sandwich stuff in between there is two ways. One way is to come here and create a player level 3. I'll create a player, oh god, I spelled that wrong, never mind. But I think you can see where this is going. We create a player level, so now that's what we're looking for. So now if I want things on top of that, and I want the player on this level, or I want him on the first level there, but behind that tile set there, yeah, so he'll disappear and walk behind things and stuff. That's how we do it. Now if I rerun that again, you'll see there's a player level there, but you can't just go there and get the player level, because this is the Axmol part of the engine now, or the molecule engine, sorry guys. And now we see that there's a player level which is sandwiched player level, but you can't just get to the player level, you need to get the tile node ID, this ID here, yeah, and then get your player level, and then that will sandwich it in between the other nodes, yeah, because it's on nodes. Now if you don't want to do that, you can use, I've put up here, where you can use it by Z order, and if I run that again, clear that, what that will do now is, now you'll see that there's only one node, but all of these sprites are now Z order. So when you add a child to this tile node, you know, you can add it to level 3, level 4, what have you, 0 will be behind everything. So you can use Z ordering as well, and it will create everything on the one node. Or as I said, you can sandwich it by just making a player level, or whatever you want to call it. Right, now I'm really sorry, it's been very, very long. I'm sure there's plenty more bits where people are going to ask, how do I get to this and that and the other. You're going to have to do your text as well. I showed you how to do that. The text is working in that, but it's only using my default text. You're going to have to figure that out, because we're using BMI text. The only problem with it is scaling and that. I've left it that you're going to have to do that bit yourself. I've left all the code in there. You're going to take it out and put it into your own function, because I don't know if your lettering is going to be 50 pixels high, whether it's 70 pixels high, 100. I don't know, you know, what size your pixels are. So I've left it here for the text, how it's done. So this is that's the object. Where's my text gone? Right, so here's the text. So here's how we get it. So we're getting from the smart node X and Y where it is. Remember, that's the object. That's not its text, because its text is buried somewhere else in the object. So this is how you create your text. You can just create your text like that. Go and look at the label if you want to do it in there, but you're going to yank this out, because if you might, as I said, have text which is not 64 pixels high, it may only be 32, so it's always going to be out of whack. Now it doesn't matter what thing there, you can always pull the size out that you want later on. I've showed you how to get stuff out of it. You know, doing things like bold and regular isn't going to work, because it's BMI fonts, yeah, and they're all different sizes, because you're going to go and create your own. if you don't want to use the BMI fonts, then you can always, it's just going to be the same size at the moment, you can always just go and pull the fonts that you want out and go and use, you know, system fonts or whatever you want to do. But, you know, I'm just showing you how you pull the text out and that. So now if I actually show that, because my text is different text from your text, but this is the routine for it here. So you see it's hello world here and it's quite small, but up here I've put it quite big. Yeah. So these are the steps for doing your text, and then, you know, your wrap and your font and your whatever it is just done on this. If key exists, font is, you know, Sergio script or whatever. You know, you do what you've got to do, guys. You can pull it out, but it's quite a funny one to do. I'll just quickly show you that now. Let's get out of there. Sorry, I was going to buzz off, but I just want to show you because it's quite a difficult one to work with text. And you can put new lines in it and that as well. Hang on, let's just do that. Let's just go in there and say that the text is a load of new lines in it. So you don't need to worry about this. It's already done. You just want the value, because the way that it actually does it is it's quite messy. And I think you're going to guess where it is. Or I could be wrong. Did I save it? Probably not. Nope, of course I didn't. Right. You don't got to worry about the messiness though, that's already done. Can you see how it's here? You know, it's quite a weird one because the text is dealt with an object. Remember, you're still going to have properties under here and all that, you know. You've got to get the object to get the position, and then you've got to get the text, yeah, to get your data. But you don't have to worry about that. You just ask, is it text? Because I've converted all of this into a value, so it will actually say that. And how I've converted it is remember I said earlier on, it's a value, VALUE. So I've actually converted it into that when it's in the system. So you only have to just ask for the value once you get to the text, yeah. And that's it done. Oh, sorry, value equals, we've got to follow the format. So it's wrap equals 1, value equals hello world. That's done in the function up here when I've done the, not decrypt, this here. It already done the conversion and that for you. When I called this concatenate data, I said, is it a text? And I went and got all that rubbish out and converted it into things. Same with the data as well, because the XML, if you run XML, it just goes down the file. So you only want value. Yeah, you see, where is it at the end? You'll see that I've said encoding, compression, and then that value, so that it looks exactly like what we were looking at there. So it makes it a lot easier. It changes this into a value rather than text and then things, so you don't got to worry about all that. Right, I hope that all helps. I'm sorry it's a long one. Was it probably about an hour long or something? Where are we now? Oh, nearly an hour. I'm real sorry, guys, but I'm really trying to, you know, give you some clue up on how this is all working. There are lots and lots of functions in here that I've put for you to, if you want to search backwards, forwards, sideways. You can add new nodes as well. That's how I got things like the rectangles. There is no rectangle in there, so you can always add data as well to the node. So if you know what it is and you want a special node to carry something over for you, you can always add a node to that data there, or you can add it into the storage and then carry it over to something else. I don't know, whatever you want to do. That's about it really. I'm saying that's about it all the time. So yeah, as you can see here, I've gone straight through and said, you know, is it a rectangle? And I've added a fix which just says add a rectangle. But then that's where I've done this, where I've put the IDs in as well, where I said, look, just get ID 0, get ID 1, it's a point, yeah, which is in the storage. See how I can add to storage? Or you can add a child to the node. So do whatever you want to do, guys. You can remove children as well. You know, delete the key from storage. There's lots of things in here. You can search by name. You can even get a path to something as well. So if you want a path to something, you want to make another shortcut or what have you, and you want to work your way back, you can do that. Remove from parent, and of course the main things get tag and set tag. Get name, set name. You can, you know, find key from storage, but I normally just do key exist. And you can do all sorts of searches as well. One of these, yeah, find key from storage. I think that one is used for if you don't want to, you know, if you want something that's in the storage and you're looking for an actual specific name for something, then you can just go and get it that way. We've got an iterator in there as well, and then here's our show debug info and stuff. And that's about it. So that's our smart nodes and our QuickTileMap, and as you can see, we can do quite a lot of funky things. If you don't want to work in the class there and that, you can always, you know, once you've got a thing here, we can get the root, and again you can get child by ID, what was it, 89 or something, yeah, from outside of it as well. So you don't have to work in that class if you don't want to. You can fix it up as much as you want, and then open up another thing and get the root, and once you've got the root, you know, you can start querying stuff again, yeah. So it's as easy as that. Right, good luck everyone. This is me finally signing off, because it's now an hour long of me rambling on, and I've got to splice a couple of parts. Yeah, good luck, have fun everyone, and bye for now. And as I said, any questions, reach me on the message board over there, and I'll try and answer as much, or if you find any bugs or want some fixes or something or other, let me know. But enjoy everyone, I hope this helps you out.